Hey guys, Happy New Year! Alright, I'm kicking off my first game that I published for the new year with a Commander game that I just played using my Nin the Pain Artist deck. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine named Eric this evening where he talked about some multiplayer games of Nin that he played, and that got me inspired to hop online to play a couple of games. And I was actually, you notice I'm not actually sitting here on a game replay that's pending. This is a suggestion of another friend of mine, a guy named Sam Tang, who hosts the incredible podcast called Kitchen Table Magic. And Sam is very versed in media and media presentation. And he made a suggestion that at the beginning of some of my videos, when I'm filling a lot of dead airspace with just some, I guess, exposition, some conversation about the format or my thoughts on it or something, some new deck that I'm unveiling, that I should have the screen idling on a deck list. So what I have in front of me here is the current deck list of my Nin the Pain Artist deck as I've been playing it with the most recent changes. You can see there's a couple recent things in here, namely Mystic Sanctuary, obviously auto-include, I think, in just about any blue deck in Commander. This card is just completely incredible, continues to impress over and over and over again just how flexible and powerful it is, and actually combines really, really well with the card Deprive, almost to the point of including both of those cards in the deck, because you can use Deprive to bounce Mystic Sanctuary back to your hand and then replay Mystic Sanctuary, which puts Deprive back on the top of your deck, and then you just draw Deprive again, and you can counter and counter and counter and counter and counter, and basically it's just a hard lock on a one card draw per turn thing that you can do, sort of similar to Forbid. And Deprive isn't really that bad of a card in and of itself. Hard counters at 2 mana are hard to come by and are quite excellent. I haven't made that change, but I think that I might be thinking about running Deprive over one of these clunky 3-mana counters. Probably Stoic Rebuttal is the card that I would remove. Dissolve, the Scry is really, really quite good, and Disallow, of course, the Stifle is sometimes instrumental in winning a game. So I think it would probably be Stoic Rebuttal that I would use, that I'd remove in favor of Deprive. The rest of the deck, very, very happy with. I haven't really seen any glaring changes that need to be done, at least for 1v1. Of course, the deck's about 4 to 5 cards different in multiplayer, but I'll get into that if I, in fact, do play multiplayer in a game online. Plus, if you're interested in my multiplayer changes, of course, you can always email me about that. Anyway, the other changes recently, Prismatic Vista, of course, comes in. That's another auto-include. And let me see, is there anything else in here? Anything else obvious? Urza has been in for a while. And no, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, of course, obviously, Arcane Signet. That's another auto-include in just about every deck. But it's been performing incredibly well, both for me and for other people playing the deck. Definitely still top tier, and makes for some fantastic games. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into that game. I've got to go over here to results. You can see a little streak of games. These are all Nin games this evening. I might have been in a zombie game there, but the rest of these are all Nin games. Got another decent streak going here. I think the last loss is back almost a month ago to Jumpy Exponent. That's a ridiculous game. I think I was playing a zombie and he went turn 1 Mana Crypt into Spell Shock, into turn 2 Hell Rider, and yeah, it got even uglier from there. I did not win that game. But anyway, the game I'm going to record here, or do for you guys, is against this guy, Paladin Driver, and it's pretty late at night. It's like 3:30, so if I'm a little fumbly with my words, I have an excuse. Let's kick this off. I have to do some quick resizing here. Let's make it full screen. All right. So, Mr. Paladin Driver. And there's some tiny spoilers on the right side there, unfortunately. Let's see if I can get rid of chat. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. So, I am playing Nin the Pain Artist, as I said, and he is playing the dreaded Karametra, God of Harvest, teaching me how to ramp, I guess. I'm going first with a very, very keepable draw, not rampy, but pretty decent anyway. Jace the Mind Sculptor and Ponder and Sensei's Divining Top, along with 3 good lands, including double red, is pretty ideal, minus a Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and Mana Vault draw. So very happy to keep this, and I'm going first. So, and I haven't really honestly found Karametra to be a particularly hard commander to beat. Generally, the fact that it's a 5-mana thing that doesn't even necessarily threaten you early on, and they can get a lot of mana, but if you can just contain the threats and card drawing, they can't usually really do much. And I've got Counterspell, that aforementioned Stoic Rebuttal on top, and Dak Faden. I love having Dak Faden early in the game because it means that I'm just insured against Krypton Soul Ring, and it can actually help me to ramp. So I'm going to put Stoker Buttle, third down, Dak, and then Counterspell. Try to move the mouse and the thing away so it's not too clicky again. All right. Let's see what he's up to. Forest, nothing. All right. It's funny when you know you've got Dak Faden coming, you almost wish, and Counterspell too for their second turn, you basically just wish that they do have Mana Crypt or Soul Ring, because I can counter what they do turn 2 and then Dak Faden away the artifact. As it is now, I'm just going to sit on Counterspell. This is primarily just a defense against Sylvan Library. It's probably the only card I would actually counter right now on turn 2. A Mana Ramp spell I probably wouldn't. All right, so he just played a Forest and did nothing. So I'm going to play Cascade Bluffs, and that allows me to play Sensei's Divining Top. Even though I'm missing an opportunity to cast Stoker Buttle, I feel like casting the top right now is important, because I know that I pondered and there's at least one non-land on top. And if he does nothing turn 3, which is unlikely, I can use the Divining Top and try to set up a turn 4 Jace, which would be awesome. And I'm doing this in, I guess I could have cast Coalition Relic here and guaranteed myself 4 mana on the 4th turn. And in retrospect, it was probably worthwhile to do that. I'm not really sure what I was so afraid of at 3 mana. So I probably should have played it. I think I was kind of just worried about him maybe killing Coalition Relic with something and then untapping and playing something dangerous that I wanted to counter. As you will soon see, that decision proves rather decisive. All right, Nissa's Pilgrimage. All right, well, that's certainly worthy of countering, because if I'm slow, he's going to be slow too. Okay. All right, so I gave a little bit of thought to using Divining Top during my upkeep, but I figured I'm going to draw first, and then if I don't draw a land, I can just use the Divining Top and probably see a land in the top 3, and then draw it with the Divining Top, and then I've got Stoker Buttle set up for turn 4. So I'm going to do that, and I'm rewarded with 3 more blanks: Shackles, Snapcaster, and Mox Diamond, the ultimate blank. So I'm going to put the Snapcaster on top, Mox Diamond at the bottom, and the Shackles in the middle. And I just play Baral and hope he doesn't have a powerful turn 4, like a Planeswalker or Oracle of Moldea or something. All right, that is not a powerful turn 4, so that gives me a little bit of breathing room, which I'm very happy to see. And the Stoker Buttle only costing 2 mana here is really nice also. So, and I know right now that I've got Shackles on top of my deck and then Mox Diamond below it. So my plan is to basically Stoker Buttle here in response to pretty much anything he does, to grind the Mox away by using Baral to draw it, because that'll allow me to dig a card deeper, effectively drawing the Mox and discarding it. Okay, 5 mana. So down comes Karametra. I was sort of expecting this. So I'm going to peek and hope that there's a land in those top 3. And now there's an Impulse, which is basically a land, but unfortunately not too useful. So I'm going to go Diamond, Impulse, Shackles in that order. And now I get to Stoker Buttle the Karametra, draw the Diamond, and throw it as quickly as possible into the trash, since it is far from being useful. Man, I really, really wish I had Coalition Relic in play. He's got another land, so I could look at Karametra next turn. This is starting to get really dicey. All right, so I'm just going to fire off Impulse here. And there's got to be a land on the top 4, right? Because I know that the bottom next card is Vidalcan Shackles. I haven't seen a land the whole game, so clearly there's going to be a land on top. Good Lord. Look at this. This is really, really getting ugly. I think that's the point when I said, geez, still landless, or maybe the turn after that. So this is really, really hard, right? I'm falling behind massively. He still has a huge hand. He could easily cast Karametra the next turn. And I'm fresh out of counterspell, short of doing something really desperate, like casting Mystical Tutor in response, and then drawing a card with the Divining Top, or getting Force of Will with it, drawing a Force of Will with the Divining Top, and then forcing away something like Dak Faden. And that I would probably only do if it was something completely ruinous, like Armageddon or something that would just make me lose the game. Izzet Signet, very, very good to have right now, but too slow. Metamorph is garbage. Vidalcan Shackles, its time has come and gone, which means that Mystical Tutor is the only choice. And I'm actually doing this in preemption. I have a multi-turn plan here. Obviously, the Tutor affords me a little bit of insurance against something really deadly next turn. But ideally, what I really want to do is I just want to use this Mystical Tutor to get a Mana Drain and use Mana Drain to power out, hopefully, Coalition Relic and Jace the Mind Sculptor in the same turn, if he's cast something big. So this is just preemption to do that. And at least I've got 3 new fresh cards on top of the deck. So I'm just sitting here waiting. Cannot afford to mess around with the Divining Top because I need it to draw whatever card I draw with Mystical Tutor if I do in fact need to get Force of Will. All right, he's tapping some mana. Ronus. Well, it is problematic. It does allow Wood Elves to trample over Baral, and it gets to start to attack for 5 if he's double pumps it. But the fact that the Wood Elves is only a 1 power versus a 2 means he has to use all of his mana on Ronus to attack, which buys me quite a bit of time. It's essentially time walking to hit me for a lot of damage, but that will buy me time to fortify. So with that in mind, this is not an emergency card to deal with, and I can just pass. But it does allow him to attack. Of course, I'm not going to block. Yeah, it's fine. Take 3. All right. Come on, deck. Good Lord. Yeah, this is definitely the point when I said landless. This is after impulsing. It's just ridiculous. The fact that I started with 3 land and I haven't drawn... How many cards deep is that? 84? That's 19 cards down without drawing a land. It's crazy. I'm going to put, obviously, Cryptic Command on top. And I do at least have Gilded Lotus there, so I can set up that play of Mystical Tutor into Mana Drain. Which is really good. All right, so I hope pretty much that I can do some cool Cryptic Command shenanigans. Maybe in response to him using Ronus to pump his guy or something, if he gets a little greedy. All right, and when I see him starting to pay cost pre-attack, I know he's doing it, which is really good. I'm thinking, come on, tap out again. Yep, look at that. All right, max greed. And I mean, I can understand this is 11 points of damage or forcing me to block with Brawl, but I think it's very risky on his part, given that I do have blue mana untapped. He's really, really vulnerable to a bounce spell, and that's exactly what I have, the ultimate bounce spell. Bounce and draw, which is so good because now I can actually use Mystical Tutor to get Mana Drain and use Mana Drain to counter Ronus and then power out Gilded Lotus, which is really exceptional. But because I didn't counter there, I don't get to draw off Baral, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, I'm just going to take 5 from a 5/1. I feel like I still need to keep Baral. I gave some thought to blocking here because if I reduce him to no creatures in play, it makes his Ronus a lot less dangerous because he needs a second creature to start pumping. But I feel that Baral is probably too much long-term value for me as potentially as a Nin target, so I'm going to leave it on the board. All right, and this is a real big gamble. I know that I've drawn 2 more cards, Mystical Tutor and Gilded Lotus. There's only 1 card on top of my deck that isn't a land, and I think it's the Trophy Mage. And I know that there's 2 more fresh cards. I haven't drawn a land, and I decide to hedge during upkeep because I really don't want to draw the Trophy Mage. So I decide I'm going to use Sensei's Divining Top right now during upkeep, which is something I almost never ever do. I see people do this all the time, and my feeling is don't really do this unless there's a completely specific reason to do it. Like you absolutely do not want to draw the top card of your library. And in this case, I don't, because a 3 mana thing just does nothing for me. So I'm going to take a huge risk, even though this means that Mystical Tutor into Mana Drain will not work on his next turn. But come on, what are the chances that the next 2 cards are still not land? Apparently 100%. That's totally ridiculous. That's 21 cards down without drawing a land. I mean, come on. It's got to be a struggle. But at least Cyclonic Rift gives me an answer to Ronus for another turn. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking here about what to do and realize there's really just nothing. I got to pass again and still be patient. This is so bad now. At least I haven't had to discard, but so behind in mana. So down comes Ronus again. He's attacking. I'm not going to block. And he plays a Temple Garden post-combat. And down comes this fucking nightmare, Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Okay, well, I'm going to peek in response and see if there's something cool on top of my library, just to see a bit more information. And no mana still. God, how ridiculous. It's crazy. I mean, this deck doesn't run a lot of land. I think it's 32, maybe 33. I think it's 33, but this is pretty absurd to go this many turns without land. But I still got to fight. I'm not going to give up. All right, well, I got to bounce Shalai since it's the only target that's legal. And at least I can do like Snapcaster, Cyclonic Rift next turn if necessary. All right, Arcane Signet. Whew. What can I do here? I basically can't do anything. I'm going to have to just hope to maybe do Mystical Tutor Mana Drain this turn. And barring that, if he gets greedy with Ronus again, I can do Snapcaster Cyclonic Rift and do the same thing I did with the Cryptic Command a turn ago. It just sucks like having to sit here and do nothing. Okay, so he's attacking. That's good, actually, because that means he's saving up his mana for something big. Could be just Shalai, but of course Shalai is going to be countered. All right. Well, I didn't have to draw that dumb trophy mage, at least. You can look at all the crazy lands that I haven't drawn this game. There's a million of them over here. But I have one target and one target only, and that's the big drain. All right. Counterspell Shalai. And I still have an opportunity to get Ronos off the board using the Snapcaster Mage. And I guess I can bounce it with Jason Mind Sculptor. This allows me to draw. Divining Top. All right. Dak Faden, your time is come and gone. Get out of here, buddy. No use for you at all. Oh, man. 4 mana still. Oracle. And a huge 6 mana guy on top of his deck. All right. Well, he's now got a single activation thing that allows him to attack for 9 damage. Not good. I'm still stuck at 3 mana, and I finally draw Mountain. God. Ridiculous. All right. Well, the play I've been setting up for ages finally works now. I get to play Gilded Lotus. And I decide probably best to just... Yeah, I think I'm going to play Nin here. I'm playing Nin, and the reason I'm playing Nin over, say, just playing Jace the Mind Sculptor and bouncing Ronis is because he can just play Ronis trivially and give Trample and +2/+0 to the Oracle and come over and kill off the Jace very, very, very easily. So playing Jace doesn't really do much. I'm actually going to play Nin here and hope that he just gets greedy and he casts either Soul of the Harvest or his Karametra, which will allow me to go Snapcaster into Mana Drain and untap and use a huge Nin activation to draw a ton of cards. So that's another preemption here, just trying to play around what he could be doing. And if he does the smartest thing, which is basically just to use Ronis and attack, I can't really do much against that. So I'm just hedging that he can't do that. And he casts a spell pre-combat, Harmonize. All right, well, that's a decent enough target for this play. I'm not going to let him draw because his hand size is down to just 4. He taps 4 mana in response, and he casts Return to Dust with Mana Drain on the stack. And normally I would wonder why he's doing that, but wait till you see what I get off the top of my library here. It's amazing that he does this play. Because look at the top card, which I'm about to draw off of Brawl. Yes, I would like to draw. Can you guys guess? It's Daze. I would have been able to Daze the Return to Dust because he tapped out to do it. Unfortunately, Lotus dies. Super punished because now I have almost half the mana. Super brutal, but he can't attack at all, which is very nice. At least I get a small reprieve. I draw another island. All right. Now, it's time to play Jace for sure here. Yeah, I gave some thought to just using a Nin activation, but it's not really that good. It's only 4 cards, and he's still just continuing to put on the pressure here. And I kind of need these guys to block anyway. Ronis is still in his hand, so I need a long-term answer to that. I need to be able to disincentivize him attacking me. And also, yeah, I just feel like getting Jace out right now is pretty important to keep Ronis off the board. He can just kill me in 2 hits, so I can't really screw around with the card, even if he gets there to recast it. It's going to take up more turn. Praetor's Council. Holy moly. Well, there's only 4 cards in the graveyard right now. He can cast that, but at least I can Daze it if he doesn't have more land. I clearly needed to learn more about ramp because I only managed to play 3 land for like the first 10 turns of the game. All right, down comes Ronis. I'm going to just shoot my Baral in response to that on the off chance that there is a Force of Will on top of my library because this thing is extremely high priority target. That is not a Force of Will. Ronis comes down, and then he taps 5 mana for that Shamanic Revelation. God, perfect. Bounce, Daze it, get to draw. Yep, and Forbid. Oh my goodness, that is so unbelievably timely. Holy cow, I actually suddenly have a chance. When I drew the Forbid, I sat up upright in my chair because suddenly I realized that I did actually have a chance to win this game all of a sudden. These big clunky spells are really bad against Baral Forbid. Command Tower, very nice. That's some guilt-free food. So I'm going to use Jace, of course, to bounce his Ronis again. I am going to play an island. It's a little painful to do, but I feel that I need to develop my mana. And I have enough mana to Forbid with buyback and cast Forbid a second time. And if he plays his Ronis, there isn't a whole lot of follow-up he can do that's that dangerous. So with that in mind, I don't think I need to buy back the Forbid twice in one turn. Oh, wait, I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. What am I saying? I'd have to use Nin. All right, he finally hits a land off his Oracle. I think he was getting rather unlucky with that. And I'm thinking, come on, man, just tap 6 mana to play the Soul of the Harvest. Yes. And I'm about to Forbid this with buyback, and then I look at it and I realize, you know what? It's actually not that dangerous. I still have Jace. It's more important right now that I draw cards off Nin, because I can use Jace to bounce Soul the Harvest back to his hand. The Ronus is still in his hand, and that's the number one priority to counter. Soul the Harvest I can just bounce next turn. It does cost 6 to redeploy, and I don't want to lose the Forbid. I really, really need this Forbid in my hand, and I kind of want to be able to use Nin some more. So with that in mind, I realize he can actually resolve the Soul of the Harvest. It's not that dangerous yet. And down comes Ronus. Of course, this is, oops, of course, only costs 2 mana. I can Forbid with buyback, throwing away these 2. And I elect not to draw, since I don't want to just discard a random card. There's probably nothing that's more valuable than Forbid outside of maybe Treachery here. And yeah, this allows me to draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. Off that 3-butt Brawl, and I get Amnesia. So amazing. Wow. All right. And a land, too. Very timely. Okay, well, regretfully, Jace is going to have to die to get rid of that card, but that's trading a Jace for a Soul of the Harvest. Seems very fair. And I get to cast a 5-mana Amnesia, taking out Cathar's Crusade, Hortley, Radiant Champion. Very interesting card. Praetor's Council, of course, and then the Soul of the Harvest. He's down no cards in hand, and he's just got this parlay guy on top, and I still have Forbid. Look at this. And he's got enough mana to play his Karametra, and for whatever reason, he just decides not to do it. He doesn't play the parlay guy either. He just says done. And I'm kind of a little puzzled by this. I think it may have just been him giving up mentally on the game. It is demoralizing facing Nin and Forbid plus Baral, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what his thinking was. Either way, this allows me to charge the Coalition Relic, untap into Force Negation. I'm just going to pass here. And now I'm really, really well. I see a Chroma's Memorial on top, which is great because it allows me to negate. He's gotten very unlucky still with the Oracle. I assume he's got tons of lands in his deck, but hasn't drawn much. And he goes to his combat step. No Karametra. Nothing, not even Thalia. At that point, I'm going to draw 2 more off my Brawl. And I get Soul Ring and Brainstorm. I charge. I'm about to cast Brainstorm and untap into more goodness. And on top of my deck, there was a couple more land. And I think, I don't know, Planeswalker. I think it might have been Tezzeret the Seeker. But we don't get to find out because Paladin realizes he's had enough. I've got too much mana in play. The Nin engine is going with Forbid. I have too many cards, and he's facing basically an unstoppable wall of counter magic. And Karametra scoops it up. Whew. Big sigh of relief. I really thought I was going to lose this game. It was so bleak early in the early going with 3 land for that many turns. If there's one thing this deck just can't abide, it's having no mana. You can definitely be card dead and make do with just lots of mana in the commander, but you cannot deal with mana screw that far into the game. I just happen to have just the right set of tools to keep the board under control and stay at a healthy 20 life. And patient enough, made a few tough decisions, pulled it out, and the result is an awesome game to herald the new year. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Probably going to be playing Nin for a little while. I don't really have any plans to play any other commander decks for the foreseeable future, as nothing is really captivating my interest right now. I've been too busy with Canadian Highlander. But if you like the Nin games, feel free to post in the comments, and I will happily play more and post them when they show up. Take care, guys. Once again, Happy New Year.